Mattison, who are you?
Sure. I am a mother, a daughter, a sister, and as you stated before, an organizational and talent development practitioner, a speaker, and a woman's mentor. But first and foremost, I am a survivor of sexual, emotional, and spiritual abuse, as well as severe bouts of Bell's palsy and a stroke. But through God, I am here today, yes, still learning, evolving, and expanding as a devoted Christian.
Amen. And that is a lot to come through, but when you are partnered with God, it may be difficult, it may be hard, but you definitely have someone that is partnered with you. You're not going through it alone. So definitely inspiring to hear that and what you've accomplished and what you've come through. So
thank you.
Definitely. So what are some of the other accomplishments that you're proud of or that you've experienced throughout life and also as you're writing the book?
Sure. Thanks for asking. So I would say the greatest achievement is my personal transformation and my children who've been the thread that pulls me up so I can keep pushing them forward to become the women God created them to be. Secondly, I would say the soon release of my first book, The Thread, aimed at empowering women, female survivors around the globe to free themselves from the pain, guilt, and shame of abuse. Along with the book is the 6-step system that I created to help them free themselves, to find this freedom, to live in freedom and happiness from abuse. And the book, as is scheduled to be launched November 2019. Thirdly, I would say my professional achievement of being awarded the 2018, so now you're going to know how old I am, the 2018 annual Pacific Coast Business Times 40 Under 40 Award, which recognized the 40 best and brightest transformational leaders under the age of 40 years old on the Central Coast. So I have to say those are the top 3 things that come to mind when I think about, my accomplishments and the ones that I'm most proud of. Definitely.
And that's amazing. That is amazing. When I seen that, the best 40 under 40, I was thinking like that's amazing because that they are putting you in a category of a lot of successful people. Now I hear an accent. So where are you from, or where is your, I guess, ancestry maybe from, or did you always grow up in the West Coast?
Sure. So thanks for asking. I am a wholehearted Jamaican. I was born on the beautiful island of Jamaica, the West Indies, and grew up in New York City, and later moved to California. But yeah, born in Jamaica. That's where the accent is coming from.
Okay. All right. And we have an interactive chat room, so we may have some questions from other people. But Miss Mocabella is in the chat room. She says she must be Jamaican. And she said that a couple minutes before you said that. So she has an ear for that Jamaican voice. And whenever I do a music show as well. Whenever I play anything reggae music, she's like, no, that's not reggae. I know what reggae is, and that's not reggae. So she's definitely a good person.
You go. I tell you, yesterday I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and he said to me, you have an accent, and it's very thick. I said, absolutely, because that was one of the things that I made it up in my mind. I wanted to retain my accent. I've been here. I grew up here, went to high school here, college, and everything, but I wanted to retain. It's just a part of who I am, and I wasn't willing to give it up. I wanted to, when I step in the room, not only people always say my smile light up the room, but I want my accent to also stand out because I am a proud Jamaican.
Awesome. And that is we should definitely be proud of where we are from, where we grew up, because that's what makes us who we are. That's what leads and shapes us and helps us continue to grow. And she said that her heritage is in Jamaica. She lives in Miami, but her heritage is in Jamaica, so she definitely can relate to what you're saying as well. And we have Dr. Leonie Mattison on the show. Thank you again for coming on. And we're talking about the book, The Thread, Imperfect Steps Transformed by a Perfect God into Ordained Purpose. What urged you to become an author? Because kind of like we talked about, that is, it's not easy at all, but it is definitely rewarding because you're pouring out your heart in a lot of situations. But what urged you to become an author?
Sure. So while recovering from painful, very, very, very painful, soul-crushing life events, I developed a close relationship with God and discovered my own spiritual gifts and the power within me to reclaim my worth, achieve complete healing, and navigate my life's purpose. Along my journey of healing and transformation, I learned quite a number of things. And one of the things I learned is that you don't have to live in the painful past mistakes, guilt, and shame others have placed upon you. Yes. Abuse, I'm telling you, it crushed my spirit, wounded my heart, and it has left some deep scars on my person, on my body. However, it has also trained and transformed me to meet my courage and resiliency. And so when I discovered that, I go, gosh, I got to share this with others because I want women to know that they're champions, and I'm inviting them. It's like this is an invitation. My book is an invitation to come along with me on an intentional journey of shared lessons learned and wisdom discovered. And my goal for this book is to help women to rise, get up out of the mistake, get up out of the pain, rise, get up out of the shame and the guilt that these soul-crushing experiences have placed upon us, and achieve intentional transformation. And I know it's possible because I am the definition of transformation. And it would be, I would say, selfish of me to not share this with others.
Definitely. And there's so much knowledge that we have. And I think it is right to share it, because if we keep it in, who is that helping? That's helping ourselves. You know, we have successfully got out of what we've been in, but use that to help someone else. And that's why I always tell people, or anybody that reaches out about podcasting or doing their own show, is that you can do this. This is, I'm not someone that went to school for this, but as I've grown and learned and continue to learn from other people, when I get the opportunity to share it, I tell people you can talk about whatever it may be, whatever's on your heart. There is a listener, there's somebody out there for this show or for this idea that you have. And I think it's important. It's important to share it and not to keep it in, because then we're only helping ourselves when we could be doing so much more with the information we have.
Thank you so much for that. And I'll also add to what you just shared is that it's like sharing our story. And these are just examples. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. These are stories to spark their wisdom, to spark their power, to empower their gifts. Because I know for me, when I was in the muck, when I was laying there, I felt like my soul was sick, you know. I needed someone to help me, and folks came along the way, and they were like the Good Samaritan. And so if you've been helped, what I've been taught by my mom is that you also extend the same and even better to others as well. And so that's one of the reasons why I go, no, to your point, like I didn't go to school to become an author. I went to nobody's school. I all. But I kept sharing my stories with my God bless my friends, my friends and strangers. And then I started a podcast myself. And people kept saying, you got to put this in a book. There's so much, but we want to be able to read it and bend the pages and jot our own notes down. And, and so I just surrendered. I surrendered 2 years ago, and I just started writing it. And it has triggered so much emotions for me to have to relive the stories and the events. But I got to tell you, it's worth the journey. It has been a worthwhile because it's actually brought about some healing for me as well. And that's my vision for this book for the readers, is that they'll be healed along the way.
Definitely. Let me give a quick shout out to Melvin. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, if any of you have any questions, I do have one question from Courtney Harden in the chat room. He says, what advice would you give other authors and writers? And we kind of talked about this before doing the show, but what other, advice would you give to authors and writers?
Mm-hmm. I would say a couple of things that I've done. Number one, we all have, well, I hope we all do, but many of us have what we call, quote unquote, a smartphone. Let the phone work for you. So what I did was I recorded myself. I recorded every thought. I recorded every side. I recorded. And here's the thing. You can use your phone to record. Then there's an app that will transcribe. Then there's another app that will actually perfect your writing. So we're not even having to do much of the work, really. So what I did, I would say my encouragement is to start recording. If you feel like you're not a good writer, just pick up your phone or buy a recording device and begin recording. Just tell your story raw. Don't worry about grammar and punctuation and all of that. That will come later when you hire a professional to do your editing. So I started out with the recording. And then once I recorded, I got another app that helped me. So I recorded actually using, let me just switch over to my phone so I can share with the listeners exactly what I did. So I have a Samsung S7, and I recorded using voice recorder. Once I recorded using voice recorder, I actually used another app, and I'll send it to you because I think I deleted it from my phone, but I used another app to transcribe. Then, because I am an auditory learner, I Google Voice to what do you call it there? Lord, I'm losing it now. So Google, the voice will actually say what you just recorded. So you can save it as a Word document and on your phone, and then you go to at voice and it will read it for you. So you get to hear exactly what you've written. And if it doesn't sound like that is what you want to say, then you can always revise it. So I've used different devices along the way to help me. Then from there, once I had the manuscript written, and it took me 2 years, like I said before, and several years behind because I've been recording for many years, but I really sat down and did it 2 years ago. Once I did that, I went on Fiverr, which is where I met you. I went on Fiverr.
Definitely.
And I secured the services. So there are two services that I utilize, Fiverr and Reedsy, Reedsy. And I secure the services of a editor and a ghostwriter to help to perfect the story. Because my story is a little bit unique, and I'll talk about it later, but I wanted to bring in biblical characters who've actually gone through some of the things that I went through, and to show women that, girl, you're not alone. Like, we're not alone in this. We're not that special, okay? There are others who've gone through it. So I worked with a ghostwriter to really get out some of the things that I wasn't willing to talk about. So they're good at asking questions. So I did that. So it's tapping into technology, different devices to help you to speak your story out, to get it out, and then, transcribe what you've just recorded, and then listen to what you've actually transcribed. So you get help along the way, and then you get to the professionals who help you to perfect your story. On Fiverr, I got my book cover done, et cetera, et cetera. So that my advice is get your phone out, start recording, start writing, and then secure the services